Hello and welcome to KRSCH News. I'm your host, Reuben DeLong. This evening we'll be having a special broadcast on medical office administration, the job, the people, and the problems that they face. In this episode, we'll discuss issues that arise in the workplace, including do's and don'ts, confidentiality, and adaptability. Later on, we'll also bring in two definitely not the same experts to talk to us about the rare and elusive MOA. Let's open with a public service announcement by the devilishly handsome reporter Reuben about the extinction warning on the MOA instructor. Experts have made a public announcement that MOA instructors might face imminent extinction if conservation efforts are not enacted. This rare species of college instructor has reportedly joined the list of 10 most endangered medical mammals. A 3-month plan was introduced to try and save the fading group, including a focus on habitation and promoting public awareness. Several specimens were captured, tagged, and released back into the wild. Others are being held for study. According to Sarah Vianate, head of research at the National MOA Research Institute, one bad snowstorm, power outage, or other natural event could tip the species over the edge and doom the entire population to extinction. There are several threats to the survival of the MOA instructor, including cat puke and messy roads. Next, let's listen in with some interviews on current MOAs discussing professionalism in the workplace.
As in every workplace, there are rules to proper dress, attitude, and overall etiquette as a professional. This also applies to those of a medical practice. Today we will be interviewing 2 medical office administrators that work at the local Fisherman's Memorial Hospital here in Lunenburg County on their views of what is and is not professional within a workplace environment. Here we have today with us Chelsey Harrington. How are you today?
I'm great.
I'm just going to ask you a few questions. Can you explain the reasons why you left your previous job?
As much as I love working with people and dealing with the public, I realized that going back to school for an easy 10 months would give me extra work experience and education. I could further my career and have increased wages. I want a career, not just a job, and in previous jobs I've had, it's just been in public eye, and I really love the medical practices and being in the medical field, so I figured I'd go back to school.
Well, I didn't really leave my last job. I was fired because of attendance and something about confidentiality. I really don't know why, I just don't think they like me very much.
So at your previous employer's company, what was last year's annual sales revenue or budget information?
Well, that's kind of a confidentiality issue at my previous company. I'm sure you understand, but I can't really explain or give out that information as I no longer work for them.
I hated working at my last employer. It was a company called Buy Right Auto. I worked on commission, sold a lot of cars to men. Our annual sales were $350,000. Our budget was pretty bad though, and we were in the red.
You come into work one morning and smell alcohol on the breath of a senior co-worker, about to lead a meeting with clients. What issues would you consider important in deciding what to do?
Well, as in every workplace, I find it more professional to speak to the person with the issue at first, and explain to her that if I continue to smell alcohol while in the workplace, that I would have to go to management and report her, as it's a hazard to everyone within the workplace and obviously not professional conduct.
It all depends on how boring the meeting was going to be. I might have to sneak a couple drinks with them beforehand to, if you know what I mean.
You have been working closely with an important client for several weeks. One afternoon during a meeting in the client office, the client makes an inappropriate remark about your physical appearance and asks you out on a date. How would you handle this situation?
I would tell the client that I appreciate the thought, but unfortunately I wasn't interested, explaining that it would be inappropriate to date or be involved with anyone as a client.
Is he cute?
Yeah, maybe.
I've been single for a while, looking for someone to do some stuff with. Because if he was good looking, I would definitely go on a date and see how things went. And if he was attracted to my physical appearance, I can't really refuse the opportunity.
What do you feel are the most important characteristics of professionalism for the position he is applying for?
As a professional myself, I feel that the most important characteristics of professionalism are responsibility, commitment, honesty, and confidentiality within your workplace.
I guess showing up to work on time and not texting while you're at the desk. I usually just sneak it in the oh, excuse me. I usually just sneak it in the counter anyways.
What about chewing gum? Is that professional?
Well, yeah, everybody has to have minty breath, fresh breath.
Now we have a situation for you. In the workplace, you see a senior coworker sneaking around and have witnessed her stealing items for her own personal use. What would you do in this situation?
Well, I would make sure that she was aware that what she was doing is wrong and explain to her that taking these items is considered stealing. If it happened again, I would take it to management. And I feel like some people that are in their senior areas and work, that they feel entitled to free things that they get because they've worked for the company for a long time. Explaining this to her would usually fix any further issues, because they usually consider it not to be wrong, that they are entitled to the things they are taking.
Well, if she's getting away with it, obviously she hasn't gotten caught before. It's her problem to deal with. And if she gets caught again, maybe I can get some pointers and get some free stuff too.
Well, thank you. We appreciate your answers.
No problem.
May I comment that your belly ring looks very good today?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And now let's go in the field for a quick word on what's happening in the business connection. Well, work orders are done. Tax appointments are booked. Yeah. Our team of reporters have unearthed many stories from people inside the MOA workplace. Let's take a look at an interview we conducted about confidentiality with an individual who prefers her identity to remain confidential. Today we have with us a medical office administrator who claims that confidentiality is not being adhered to in the workplace. Thank you for joining us.
I'm glad to be here.
Now, confidentiality is a set of rules that protects an individual's private information. What is the issue with confidentiality in the workplace?
All patient information is
Confidential.
including their living situation, family, and finances. It is important that this information is not shared with anyone that is not directly involved in the care of that patient. Breaches in
Confidentiality.
are serious business, and disciplinary action, even if the breach was accidental, can range from fines to termination of employment.
As an MOA, how do you show confidentiality in the workplace?
There are many techniques for protecting.
Confidentiality.
When working with computers, you should allow only authorized personnel to enter
Confidential.
patient information. All computers should be encrypted and logged off before leaving the work area. Old hard drives that contain medical data should be drilled or destroyed to protect the
Confidential.
information. Regarding the written word, do not leave medical records or charts unattended in areas such as examining rooms where other patients might see them. Secure areas such as doctor's office when they are unoccupied, and be careful of what you throw away. Personal health information should never be disposed of in the trash can. Shred any documents containing patient information. When speaking, do not discuss patients in public areas where you might be overheard. You never know who is listening. Do not discuss patient issues with your friends and family members. Only discuss them with healthcare members actively involved in your patient's case. Take care not to give
Confidential.
information such as test results over the phone.
That does seem like a lot to remember.
As a healthcare professionals, we should maintain our patients'
Confidentiality.
at all times. This not only protects our patients, but also us.
Well said. Thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
And now let's take a break to see what's going on with the weather, with our incredibly eligible weatherman, Reuben to Average. Reuben? Thanks, Reuben. This week we can expect some beautiful weather and clear skies all week. Lots of sun this weekend and a balmy start to the next week. As usual, we can expect a stormy Wednesday with record lows, solar flares, earthquakes, and a hellfire. Back to you, Reuben. Thanks very much. Snappy tie, by the way, very svelte. Next we have an insert from Let's Talk with Keeli Lang interviewing specialist David Griffith about adaptability in the workplace.
Good morning, MOAs. Let's talk. I'm your host, Keeli Lang, and I'm here today with specialist David Griffith. How are you today?
I'm very well, Keeli. Thanks for having me.
All right, well, let's just dive in. Adaptability shows the ability to learn from experience and cope with change. How important do you think this is to employers?
I think it's probably one of the top priorities of employers. Nowadays, not too many years ago, the Conference Board of Canada did a study, and they asked a large sampling of businesses in Canada, both large and small, what they felt were the most valuable skills that their employees bring. And interestingly, they weren't always those core skills that typically their employees would be trained to do. They were what we call the soft skills, communication skills, interpersonal skills, and things like being able to adapt to change and to be flexible were things that were always rated very highly. I think the whole flexibility, adaptability piece is one of the number one thing that most employers are looking for nowadays, mainly because of the pace at which work is evolving now. Change is basically inevitable and is probably going to happen often and quickly. So that's a survival skill that I would want my employees to have so that they could stay on track.
Okay, that makes sense. Integrity, honesty, positivity, enthusiasm, and efficiency are qualities of a good leader. What do you think makes a good team leader?
Probably for me, a good team leader needs to know his or her team. A good team leader needs to know what skills that each of those members of the team bring to the team. Obviously, everybody comes with a different skill set, different gifts, different preferences. And a good team leader should be able to see those and to be able to utilize those. Okay.
So delegation.
The importance of delegation, that sort of goes with your last question, Keeli. A good team leader needs to, as I mentioned, recognize these skills. Once the team leader knows those skills that the team members possess, a good leader will be able to delegate tasks to the appropriate staff to get those things done.
Okay. So you want everybody linked together so they can work together as a unit?
Absolutely, as a unit, but each using their own particular skill set.
Okay. All right. Sometimes changes are planned and anticipated, but often they come quickly and as a surprise. Can you tell me a little bit about some of your experiences with workplace changes?
For me, I've been fortunate because typically I work in technology. I teach computer applications, and this sort of technology changes rapidly and even more rapidly nowadays. So I've learned to anticipate that the change is going to happen, and it's probably going to happen sooner than later. So for me, it's been a matter of trying to stay ahead of that change. For an example, next year when I teach Microsoft Office applications, it will no longer be 2010, it'll be the 2013 suite. And probably a few years after that, it'll be whatever comes next. So I have to try to keep staying ahead of that.
Okay. All right. Well, companies, businesses, and offices like technology are forever changing for a variety of reasons, and the transition is not always smooth. Have you ever had to conform to a policy or process with which you did not agree, and how did you handle it?
Probably the best example I could give you there was several decades ago, dating myself here, when I was teaching in the public school system. A new initiative came out in which we were supposed to begin teaching language differently. Up until that point, language was taught through certain guidelines and processes and tools like punctuation, spelling, sentence structure, paragraphing, pronunciation. Yes, as we call them, the basics, yeah. To me, that had always worked. I taught English language to school kids of all ages, from elementary to senior high. And of course, we've all heard the old saying, you don't fix what ain't broke. I didn't think there was anything broke there at the time, but this new initiative was very aggressively pushed. And it was basically, you do not teach spelling anymore, you will not teach punctuation anymore, you will not worry about sentence structure and periods and capitals anymore. In a nutshell, it was basically you will just immerse the student in all things written, be they books, newspapers, magazines, comics, whatever, and they will get it. I didn't get it. I didn't agree that that's how everybody learned. Maybe some, maybe a top percentile learn that way because they just have that style of picking things up, but it's like anything else. How can you teach a carpenter to build a cabinet if he doesn't know how to use a saw? That was my frustration with it. However, this was the policy from on high. The Department of Education said, David, you will teach this. And so David did teach that because he had to. That being said, whenever I had the opportunity to share my own insights as to why I think this won't work, and I think history has proven that it didn't, because it went full cycle and now we're back to teaching, guess what? Punctuation, spelling, etc. But I couldn't change it in the short term because the policy was to teach whole language. So I taught whole language. But that being said, I kept my skill sets active, you know, and brought up my concerns to management whenever I could in a respectful way. I think for the most part it was ignored until it
became apparent that it wasn't working.
Yeah, until lots of people like me started seeing a trend there, and again, things changed, and now they don't necessarily call it what they used to call it, but they're doing it again.
Okay.
So, yeah, in short, if it's policy, you are the employee, you need to abide by the policy. That doesn't mean that you can't be constructive and try to show where there might be challenges in implementing or using a policy.
Okay. Well, I thank you for your time today.
Well, I'm glad you had me. I appreciate the opportunity to talk.
All right, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.
In our last segment of the show, we've brought in MOA experts Sarah Vino and Sarah Vianate to talk to us about MOAs in their natural habitat.
From its northeastern border with Halifax Regional Municipality, South Shore, Nova Scotia spans some 518 kilometers along the Atlantic Ocean to the bottom of Yarmouth, longer than double the length of Prince Edward Island. Strung out along its counties of Lunenburg and Queens lies 3 hospitals: Fisherman's Memorial, South Shore Regional, and Queens General, as well as several clinics and medical offices. Here, among the hospitals and offices, life both civilized and professional have learned to thrive. At the Nova Scotia Community College Lunenburg campus, medical office administration students have found refuge. Here, we see a vast amount of them in their natural habitat. The students range from ages late teens to mid-40s. You can see them here working on their document processing skills. Some have 25 words per minute typing rate, while others can have up to 80. A young female stakes out her territory. She'll range over 2,900 square kilometers in search for her work term. The MOA's main prey is hopeful full-time positions at the South Shore Authority hospitals. Catching one is not easy. Even after a successful work term, full-time positions are not guaranteed. Now we will see the MOAs in their natural habitat, with specialist Sarah Vianate from Australia reporting from the Nova Scotia Community College in Bridgewater, Nova Scotia. Sarah Vianate here at the Nova Scotia Community College Lunenburg campus. I've traveled over 17,000 kilometers to get here by kayak. Let's go find some MOAs.
You ready, Reuben?
Ready.
You ready? Okay, very quiet because they get startled very easily. They're all like that. Come on, come on. Here we are at their classroom. This is the laboratory that they like to sit in and do typey stuff. Alright? You better watch out because some of them are quite fierce. Oh, I can hear some of them over there talking. Oh, look, here comes one. Run, quick, quiet. Oh, look, this one's a nice one. She's not fierce. She's not very fierce at all. Okay, Reuben. Now, come over here. Come a little closer. We'll see if we can find a vast amount of them studying for a test that they did not prepare for the night before. Come a little closer, Reuben. Just a little closer. Oh, God, Reuben. Too close. God. All right, come here. Crikey, jeez. God, look at that. Look at them. See? That one right there, that's a Michaela. That one's quite rare. She's a very rare species. That one there, I've heard that one's called a holly. That one there, I've heard she's quite smelly. Look at those gestures.
Now this one here, this one's called a Jenkins. Now, you have to be very careful with the Jenkins because without those intense eyes, the Jenkins will eat your baby.
This is what I'm talking about. MOAs of Lunenburg County. This is the future of the healthcare system. These are the people that are messing with your medical records. Well, not messing, but organizing. All right, so now what we're going to see here is a very special, very special man. He goes by the name of David Griffin. Now, if we just walk in here quietly, we can see him working with the students.
Yeah, sorry.
See how he waves? He's quite friendly.
Oh no, there, he's caught us.
Oh boy, crikey. That was a close one. We got caught, but that's all right. We ran away quite fast. People don't run here. Let me say. David Griffith is an instructor here at the community college. He teaches comm to the MOAs and to other programs that don't even matter. So he is an instructor here, teaches the MOAs, been teaching them since September. And we have other instructors, but I heard that they come and go as they please, so I can't find any other instructors other than David. Thank you for allowing me to have the opportunity to travel here to the Nova Scotia Community College Lunenburg campus by kayak. Sarah Vionate, out, and back to you with the mockumentary.
When times are lean, MOAs will take their chances with other prey. Most of South Shore Nova Scotia's health field is centered in small towns between the drumlin landscapes. They will search for other full-time jobs from sources such as collaborative practices, small medical offices, insurance companies, as well as dentist, physiotherapy, and chiropractic offices. This female has learned an important lesson in the MOA world. She will need diligence, the understanding of confidentiality, professionalism, emotional intelligence, critical thinking, and a vast amount of technological skills to be the best MOA she can be to obtain a full-time job. By doing so, she will have a fulfilling career in which she will continue to learn and add to her skills inventory every single day while continuing the MOA role in the majestic drumlin terrain in the South Shore of Nova Scotia.
Well, that seems to be all the time we have tonight, folks. Tune in tomorrow night for a special MOA Jeopardy!
so I'm hoping.
Edit. You're an awful person and I hate you.
So I think in that respect, I hear a dog.
And they're wild. This one here happens to be picking her nose.
Are you recording?
No. Perfect. In our last segment of the show, we've brought in MOA experts Sarah Vino and Sarah Vianate to talk to us about MOAs.
Oh yeah, we got a real big one here. Well, typically, docile MOAs can be.
Are we recording?
Mm-hmm.
Experts have made a public announcement that MOA instructors might face imminent. Experts have made a public announcement that MOA instructors might face imminent extinction if a conservation instructor has reportedly joined the list of 10 most endangered medical mammals. A 3-month plan was introduced to. Oh, that's another one. Breaking news, there are dogs loose in the news station. It's crazy. They're just wandering around, ruining everything.
Be quiet! Or you go in your kennel. That's right, be quiet.
And make noise. Good girl. Reuben DeLong here, reporting live from an incident occurring right now in the news station.